Hi, I'm Allie,
And I'm Matt.
and we are from Bakersfield, California, and we recently quit our jobs and are now traveling the Americas in our big red van, Clifford.
So we converted Clifford in about 6 weeks, so we definitely did it in a hurry. We tried to capture as much footage as we can, but if you have any questions about how we built something or how we did some piece of the van, please leave us some comments or questions. We'd love to make more videos detailing exactly how we did it.
We first removed the metal barrier between the cab and the back of the van. We will come to reuse this again, but in order to clean well, we needed an empty van. First, we cleaned out the van, removed the old plywood flooring, walls, and pressure washed the shit out of it. We removed the rivets from the prior plywood flooring as well. We're pretty sure the van hadn't been cleaned in years, so it was quite the job.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm out working on the Sprinter. I just installed some sound deadening mat. It's the first time I've ever worked with it, but watched a couple YouTube videos and I'm going to town. So I wanted to show you kind of results I got so far. I just finished the driver's side door. I'll show you how that turned out, and then I will show you how to take the passenger side door apart, just in case you're curious how to do this on the Sprinter. So here is my little workshop. I only got a small order of the Nico mat just because I wasn't sure how much I need, how much I was gonna do. I thought about doing, obviously the whole interior of the van, but I decided since I'm gluing foam to the side of these, that I think I'll get some of the same results in reducing some of the tin and the ringing. So yeah, I only got like 10 square feet of this, but I decided because of that to kind of focus on the front part of the car where we're driving, and that way, it's a little more quiet while we're between stops and trying to chat with each other. So I already put the front door back together. I'll show you how to take that panel apart. Our Sprinter's missing this little bottom cubby hole, but I put one on there. You can tell, sorry, didn't really get it. You can tell that's a lot better. So here's what this door sounds like. A little bit down at the bottom. I didn't get any way down in the pocket of the door. So here's the passenger door that I haven't done yet. So pretty big difference already. I only installed about 1.5 of those mats. So I got 10 of them. I used like 1.5 on that door. You can see one little piece I put on the floor here. I was going around hitting it with a hammer, looking for, the spots that had the most ring to them. So I'm going to try to just use up pretty much all of the Dynamat we have here on the inside of the cab, and not really worry about the back, I think. So see how it turns out. Alright, so in the last section of the video I showed you kind of what the results are. So now I'm onto the passenger side door. First thing, the other side of our door didn't have this little cubby, but you want to do this, it opens up. There's 2 little hinges down there. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. I'm gonna have to put the video down, but you can pull these latches off of these little bars that are attached here. So I'm probably gonna have to pause you here for a second. All right, we're back. Yeah, it wasn't too hard to remove, just kind of hard to do one-handed. Grab either side of that piece and just kind of wiggle it back and forth, and it popped right off of there. So now onto the door, there's 2 trim pieces we need to take off. One is right here, underneath this. The other is this piece that runs up the door. It should pop off towards you. Oh, there it is. 3 little pieces. Look at these, in the last time I took this off, one of these got stuck in the door itself, so just make sure all those are accounted for, not broken. Let's see if I can get this piece apart. I just grabbed right under the door handle here, pulled away from it. That comes off. Now, there are 2 screws in here. One's here, one is behind this. There's a little snap right in here. Right there. You push that up and pull it out. There's that. I undid the plug on this last time. Let's see if I can do that. Let me push it down again. It's a lot of 2-handed operation. Alright, and I took that off just because when I take the door panel off, I fish this between the door handle cable and the panel itself, just so I can take the panel farther off and rest it on the ground while I'm doing that work. So now you can see that Torx head screw is out here, exposed here. So this is a T30. So we'll take that out. Right in there. Did that on purpose. Alright, that's off. Now, there's a bunch of hooks on the back side of this door. Look like this. You need to pick the whole door up and kind of out. Last time I grabbed it with 2 hands from the bottom. I'm pretty confident I'm not going to be able to manage that with 1 hand. So, again, I'm going to push it down and I'll show you what it looks like when I have the door up. Alright, so I got it loose. Kind of just grabbing underneath and pulling up and out, going back and forth from left to right on the door until everything comes loose. As you can see, the door is loose now. So this is what I was talking about with that electrical cable getting caught behind it. So I pulled this up. Everything is harder with 1 hand. There you go. Looks like I still got it latched right at the very bottom. There it goes. I just left this connected. You can't disconnect that here at the door, but it doesn't really put too much strain on it just to set it down. So this still has some flex in it. Obviously, as you can tell, this is really short, so you don't have much room if you leave that in there. And this is the space we're working with. I ran Dynamat down on this section here. It was by far the loudest. Up here, much less ringy and a much more complex install behind this, although obviously very doable. So it depends on how much mat you want to place in the door. I basically covered this bottom section with 3 small pieces, and I'm going to install those now. Show what that looks like. Alright, well, the first step is to clean everything. Just like, masking tape or duct tape, if you stick it to a really dirty surface, it's going to want to come back off. So behind the door is pretty dusty. I did kind of a bulk clean with just a rag, just to wipe everything down in here. And especially where I'm going to be doing the Dynamat, but obviously I'm going to be living in this van, so I'm trying to get it as clean as possible everywhere. Hold on, that looks a little broken, so I'm going to address that as well while I'm in here. This looks like the slide for the window. But anyway, I'm going to wipe down all the dust in here. I'm going to come back with some isopropyl alcohol, 70%, it's like $1 at Walmart, and a different rag, a clean rag. And then I already pre-cut some of the, we call this Noiko mat, that I'll put on there. Last time I used one of these, which is a half a piece, and then 2 quarter pieces, and another half a piece on the bottom. So let me get you this all cleaned up and that track fixed. I'll probably apply the first one and then show you what I got. Alright, so I got everything cleaned up with isopropyl alcohol and got my first piece going on. I'm going to run a little bit of an experiment and use multiple small pieces of the mat. So I cut it up into, several smaller pieces. I'm going to try and spread those out across the panel instead of doing one big square kind of in the center of the panel, which is what I did last time. I'm hoping that I can get some of that down deep in here to help with some of that ringing down at the bottom that I didn't fix on the driver's side door. So we'll see if this works. Basically what I've done is just peeled back a little bit of the paper, stuck it at the top, and I'm working my way down. I don't have a roller, I didn't buy a roller, I don't have a lacrosse ball, anything like that, so basically I've just been applying with my hands, and that's been working fine. I'm also in California and it's about 85 degrees right now. I even had this stuff sitting out in the sun a little bit. So it's going on pretty easy. It's pretty sticky and loose right now. I'm sure if it's colder I'd have to apply a little more force to get it to stick to the door. But I'm going to apply a couple pieces here. Like I said, I'm going to try to get a couple pieces down in there. Again, I'm not really going to worry about up here too much, at least right now. Part of the reason is this door panel is pretty easy to take off. And I really want to focus on the cab, so I'm going to do a lot on the floor of the cabin here, similar to what I did over on the kick panel of the driver's side, because we're putting the floor back in, and that's going to be a lot harder to take out than to take off this door panel if I find I really want to put more Dynamat in here. So that's kind of the plan. I'll pop back in after I put all these pieces on, show you what it looks like.
I don't?
Yeah.
You already did this? You already videoed it all?
No, just kind of, it was harder because I went one hand, but so I told one.
Clean with some alcohol first.
Yep, gotta clean her up. I'm not doing the two doors the same, so I'm figuring out what works, what doesn't
Yeah.
work. So we're running an experiment on the front doors because they're easy to get to if I want to change something. Add
So
more, do whatever.
what sounds would this reduce?
Mainly it's used to like reduce driving noise, like
Okay.
road noise and vibration that comes from like the engine, or this picked up through the suspension of the vehicle. So, but it can also reduce noise just like while we're parked. So that's why a lot of people sound deaden
The inside of the
rest
van.
of the van as well. Yeah. But I'm hoping the installation is going to take care of a lot of that.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Why do you need your glove?
Because it just slides easier. You're supposed to have a little roller to like press this on. They want you to like depress all these little raised diamonds on the back to make sure that it's stuck to the metal.
Yeah.
But I don't have a roller and it's pretty warm, so it's
Sticking.
not a problem. But the glove helps my hands.
Yeah. Better.
Still ringing. Yeah, but better than it was, right? So I don't think it ever goes away completely. Maybe if you coat the whole thing, but I'm cheap, so we're going for, you know, maximum impact for like
Minimum cost.
$10 of or $20 worth of
Sound deadening.
sound deadening. So we're just kind of sticking some somewhere, seeing how it goes. So here's where I randomly put some sound deadener. Same spot I had on the other side, but split into little strips. I also cut it up and got some small pieces down at the bottom to see if that would help there. So I'm going to put the door back on and then do that bottom piece where the cubby hole was, and I'll show you that when I'm done. Alright, so I finished the bottom cubby hole part. There were some details on the load proportion device, which I think is talking about the brake proportioner, not sure. So I didn't cover that. So keeping with the pattern of the rest of the door, did a bunch of little pieces. And whoops. She locked. There we go.
Sounds better.
Sorry, Clifford. So that's that door. I'll try to hit it about the same. I don't know, it seems about the same to me. Maybe helped a little bit on the bottom, getting some material down there, but overall, sounds way better than it did, but I'll let y'all be the judge whether you want to do one big piece or a bunch of little pieces.
Woohoo! I was just watching, supervising.
Came out right at the end, just to, you know, claim some fame. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Leave me some comments if I did that completely wrong, or if you have any other feedback for us, let us know. Bye. On day 2 of van installation, we figured we would share a few tips and tricks that we've learned that I think will maybe make it easier when you go to insulate your van. First thing is we had some trouble getting into the small, like, extruded sections, both of these. So we didn't do that on the first side that we did. So there's a lot of gap in there. We ended up trying to fill it with some spray foam, but it takes a lot of cans of spray foam to fill it up. So we did something a little bit different over here, and we cut several 1.5 inch strips, all the same length. Sorry.
The wind!
Get in my eyes.
Oh no, you need your safety
I
goggles.
know, my goggles. So I cut 3 strips that are all the same size. So basically just cut a ton of 1.5 inch strips, and then each one of these sections we cut in half, basically. So, bring it over here.
Do you want to hold it?
Yeah, yeah. So basically you can see down in here, 1.5 strip will kind of fall down to the bottom there. The next one can go in and slide back into this gap here, filling this little section. And the third strip falls down in here, right on top, and forms a nice flat place. We're gonna put a 2-inch piece of foam in here because it's gonna sit down in up against this bottom piece pretty seamlessly. So I think that's gonna give us really good coverage on the foam. Also up top here, you can't quite fit a 2-inch piece of foam up there. You can only fit 1 inch. So we have a 1-inch piece, 2 1-inch pieces. This is a 4-inch piece that fits in here perfectly. So this is gonna get glued in place. You just push it up and you can see that I can push that up against the front. That leaves a few inches of clearance back here. Enough for this next 1-inch piece to slide up behind it. Oh, sorry, I'm all jammed up. Just like that. And this piece is 5.5 inches, and it comes pretty much flush with right here. And that's so we can put our 2-inch piece in behind that. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. We also found the best way to cut foam, at least for us, were these little hacksaw blades. I had 2 of these laying around the garage, and actually works super well, way better than we were using a pocket knife or a utility knife and scoring them, especially with like the 2-inch pieces of foam. It's difficult to get a utility knife through all of it, but this goes right through and saws through really easily. What do you think, Ellie?
So, safety goggles, always wear them.
We've got a couple foam and eye incidents already, especially when using the spray foam.
Yeah.
They're necessary.
So this whole section, Matt actually measured it the second time and it was way easier than when I was just winging it because it was hard to stuff it in there. But here the seam blocks foam from being able to get pushed through. So now we're just like stuffing little
So we have a ton of scraps as we've been
pieces in there.
trimming stuff. So we're just gonna stuff as much of that as we can in there. And then I'm gonna come back behind that with spray foam and just try to kind of fill it up with foam.
Yeah, those are little nooks and crannies. They're
Yeah.
hard to
So we're trying to get into, you know, all the hard to reach places as best as possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will still be some that's not completely insulated, yeah.
Done's better than perfect.
More is better than less.
Exactly. And it's raining here today, so we're trying to stay in the van. I'm glad we're not on the roof today.
Yeah, we're trying to knock out some insulation as much as possible. And then we'll cut some holes in the roof tomorrow, probably.
Yep.
One other tip I got. When we went to Home Depot, we decided we needed some 2-inch, because originally all I bought was 1-inch. And when I went to the aisle, I found a ton of foam that had damage to it. Basically, I had it sitting right in front of some like steel pipe, and it looked like punched holes in it. So there were quite a few. You can see one here had some pipe damage. This one. So I got 3 sheets of the 2-inch that we bought, all for 50% off. And really, most of them were pretty good. This was the worst one. And really, it's only going to be a tiny section of it that's kind of unusable that I'll cut out. So, pro tip, ask Home Depot for a discount when your foam's jacked up. Odds are it's going to be at least a little damaged, so they might give it to you. But yeah, they ended up being like $15 a sheet for the 2-inch, and I paid $20 for a sheet of the 1-inch, so good hack, save you a little bit of money.
Pro tip.
Pro tip.
Woo woo!
We cut all the pieces of the foam core board to fit the gaps inside the van. We measured each cutout in the van and used a Sharpie to trace the correct size onto the foam board. We then cut it using a hacksaw blade, which we found was the best way to cut through the foam. Once we had the pieces fit correctly, we spray foamed the outer linings of them and glued them in using some expanding foam like Great Stuff or Loctite foam. In order to make sure the glue stuck, we used some 2x4s to apply pressure to the boards while everything dried.
If you like this video, what should you do?
Subscribe!
Subscribe! Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you have any questions, if you're like, what the heck, what did they do? They skipped over this part. Hit us up. We'll make sure to respond. Oh, Amber, you're such a good girl.